All right, so for week 3, we're talking about self-publishing, copyright infringement, and obscenity, indecency, and profanity. For the first question, how do I feel about copyright infringement? I think that there's a very fine line. I think when it comes to music and things like that, if you're listening to music that someone has copyrighted, there's almost no way that you're going to know that, that they have infringed on that copyright. If someone takes music from somewhere, how are you going to know? It's completely different than like a book where you can see word for word that it's coming out of here. You don't know how someone retrieved that music. So for like at clubs, when DJs use certain music, they have to have certain paperwork, I guess, to say that they can use that music and they can mix it differently. Chopped and screwed music. There's rules for all that. I think that it's really discouraging for people who are creative and do post things on YouTube trying to get started to then have it taken away from them and someone else get more credit for it. I don't know how many steps YouTube takes for someone who is creating something as far as protecting them, especially if they aren't already famous or well known. One example I know someone else gave already was LMA and Jacquees. LMA made a song, and then another artist, Jacquees, went and remixed it. And his remix was liked way more than the original, and she ended up suing him and making him take it down off of all websites, all apps, any way you can get the music. She made him take it down. And in that instance, I think that is really silly, because I do believe I read that he did have rights to remix it. That's what most of his albums are remixes of other people's songs. And I think that was more of a jealousy thing. So I think that there's a line right there where it's like, are you mad because of how they used your stuff to get more popularity, even if it was legal? Or are you mad because they illegally used your stuff? And then when it comes to the broadcast TV, I think that for the one that was talking about the cuss words during prime time, broadcast television where a parent is going to turn it on in front of their children, not thinking anything of it, I think that it's very inappropriate. But at the same time, as a parent, you're not just going to turn the TV on and leave the room. You're going to turn the TV on and see what's on, and then do whatever you're going to do, go about your day. So I think that, at the end of the day, every kid is going to hear a cuss word. Is it silly to have them watch an educational video about it? Probably. Is it inappropriate? Yes, especially to have it on a main channel. But there are ways to avoid it. If you don't want to see it, you can change the channel. So that one I don't think is as serious, I guess. But as far as the moral code in today's society versus before, I think it's definitely loosened a lot. I think that cussing has become way more normalized. People use it in their everyday talk. I work at a law firm, and I hear the attorneys cuss in the hallways all the time. Granted, they would never do it in front of a client, and I would get in trouble if I did it, but I think that people are becoming more expressive in different ways that otherwise weren't appropriate 20 years ago, 10 years ago. I've mentioned this before, but in our law firm, I think they said it's been within the last 15 or 20 years that women haven't had to wear skirts with pantyhose. So I think that just goes to show that even though people are changing, people's morals are changing, it doesn't mean that the laws have caught up to them. So I think that there are plenty of people with more loose morals, but there are still those some that expect professionalism when they turn on the television, especially for a live TV show and things like that. So I think it's kind of just up to the person as far as the 7 cuss words and what they mean in that show. I would say just change the channel.